Hiya! Welcome back to my channel. I'm Katie and this is the importance of temperance. And finally, I'm trying to catch up and get this Hierophant filmed. It has been a mad dash. I've just been busy with work and now I'm going away for a family gathering, and so I just haven't had time to do anything. But I hope you're all doing super well wherever you are in the world. I'm super good. I have had a nice Easter break. I hope for those of you who celebrate Easter, and for those of you who do not celebrate Easter, you had a nice break anyway. Let's take advantage of our public holidays or bank holidays or whatever you call them in your part of the world. And it just gives us a chance to go away on holiday or spend time with loved ones. So I always appreciate it. And I'm not religious in that kind of way. I am very spiritual though, and I do have a connection with Christ consciousness, and I feel that this weekend was a very energetic weekend. I feel like there was a massive shift, and I feel like when I woke up on Sunday morning, the energy had shifted and something that is beautiful has been resurrected in our world that has been gone for a very long time. Now, I know a lot of people get triggered by religion. It's really hard because this card has those religious connotations with the Pope based on our old world traditions, especially I must say tradition of depicting the Pope. But if we want to look at it from an esoteric point of view, the Hierophant is the holder of the keys of knowledge. The Hierophant is the initiator, and what he does is he initiates you into the mystery. So when you want to look into the esoteric and the knowledge that is available to you in a spiritual kind of way, the Hierophant is there to allow you to understand different levels of secret knowledge, of mysteries, of things that have been occulted. See, this is negative connotation with the occult. Occult just means hidden, and it's hidden knowledge. So the sacred knowledge that has been hidden from us. So to me, the Hierophant is that card. He is more of a spiritual leader in the sense, not as a Catholic so-called religious dogmatic leader. He is someone who initiates you to the broader mysteries of life and where your path or your spiritual path or whatever practice you follow. It is also to me a bit of tongue-in-cheek by representing as the Pope, so the head of the Catholic Church. My view of religion, it's very dogmatic, it's very cultish, and it has twisted the actual meanings of what the actual Bible and Christ, who was a real person who came here to give us some sort of messages like the Buddha. They were masters, they were enlightened masters who came here to teach us some lessons, to bring love into the world, and then the messages got twisted. This is why I guess a lot of us have kind of like moved away from religion per se, or going to church. I have always been an atheist, and only in the past 2 or 3 years I have come to appreciate that there are many truths hidden in the Bible, and there are many truths to what Christ came here to teach us. So I am not adverse to this card at all, represented as a Pope, because in Pixie's artwork there is more in-depth meaning to it as opposed to, I guess, the Marseille depiction. So that was a very lengthy introduction to the Hierophant, but I just wanted to sort of highlight my kind of concept behind the Hierophant. All right, so having said that, this is from the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot, and I just wanted to show you him because obviously this is one of my favorite Rider-Waite-Smith decks, which is by Los Scarabeo, and so I kind of always try to start off my top tarot trumps, you know, just giving you a brief overview of my take on the card. This is obviously a continuation of Top Tarot Trumps tag, which the lovely Marsha from Musings by Marsha initiated, and which is super fun. So the next card I want to talk about is from the Nicoletta Ciccoli, a tarot deck. And as I mentioned before, to me, this is a really fun take on the Hierophant. It wants to take the piss from the traditional kind of feel of what a pope is. Now, Nicoletta Ciccoli is Italian, so she comes obviously from a Catholic background. I have lived in Italy, and the pope is a very important figure in Italy, but it's also one of those figures that you have to take it with a grain of salt. Because it is like an institution per se, but it's also riffed with all sorts of, connotations. But let's just say that the Vatican has a lot of hidden things down in their vaults, and they are keepers of knowledge, and they hide the knowledge from the rest of the world. And we also know that back in the day, popes could be bought by rich families. I don't put a lot of stock in the leadership of the Pope. So there's a lot of things going on there. And so this card, I feel, does take the piss and does want to tell you, because he is like the monkey with his little candy stick here, he is not to be taken that seriously as a religious leader, and especially the leader of the Catholic Church per se. Okay, so next one is from the Tarot of Crowley, which is a Christoph James deck. This is an indie deck, and this is obviously from Russia with Love, Rasputin, and there was a lot of hype around Rasputin and his role at the court of the Russian Tsars. Was he real? Was he a fraud? Was he a healer? Was he a spiritual man? Or was he just in there for a power play? So again, a very interesting take on the Hierophant. There's so much more that we need to look at and understand in regards to putting our trust in these figures, in these so-called, church leaders and church figures. Are they telling us the truth, or are they keeping the real truths hidden for themselves to gain more power and just don't worry about the rest of us? So it's very political. I find that the Hierophant has not only religious connotations, but it's also very political. At the end of the day, even though we want to keep them separate, religion and politics, they're very intertwined. And I guess wherever we go in the world, there is that connotation between religious and politics. I mean, if you have a look at the UK with Henry VIII, who decided, because the Catholic Church wasn't doing what he wanted, because he wanted to get divorced, he just said, okay, see you later, Catholic Church. I'm just going to make my own church because I want to do what I want to do, right? So, yeah, very interesting take on the Hierophant with the Tarot of Crowley. Now, this is one of my newest decks. This is the Tarot of the Third Millennium, and this is a beautiful depiction of the Hierophant, very traditional here with all the papal attire and the tiara, and his now I don't know exactly what this one is called with the 3, but I mean, I guess it's the papal scepter. But I love the way that he's depicted. Like, we see the back of him, and then we see the church. The 2 supplicants are here in the sconces, and then this door, it looks like we have to insert the key in here. And with this deck, it's very interesting because the papess, which is the high priestess, holds keys, and she inserts the key in here to open and going into the higher knowledge and the higher mysteries, because he is the initiator. So it's beautiful. I love this because of the design, because of the line work, because of the drawing. It's actually really a beautiful card. So, and I've also got the bigger version, the Mages Only, which I got from Lo Scarabeo. All right, so my next one is from the Frank Pinto deck. I don't know. There is just something very, very poignant about this depiction of the Hierophant, again, has a very religious connotation. Ferenc Pinter lived in Italy. He escaped from Hungary with his parents, and they came to live in Italy. And as we can see, the depiction is very popish. The colours to me are beautiful. I love this contrast with the black background, and you have the yellow Pope with the red floor here. So I don't know if he's opening, you know, like this door for us, and he's welcoming into the inner sanctum to check out whatever knowledge and secrets he hides in there, or if he's closing the door so we don't have access to that knowledge. You know what I mean? I love these depictions of the major arcanas from the Ferenc Pinter Tarot. Beautiful interpretation there. So how many have we had? We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this here is my Lightseers Tarot, and this is more how I relate to the Hierophant. He is to me a spiritual teacher. It is someone that can help you understand certain concepts. It's enjoying life. See how he's just laughing and just going with the flow. It's more a modern concept of spirituality. We're connecting with something that's higher and more divine in a different way from what maybe our forefathers thought it was, or they were taught to believe. There's always an intermediary between us and our spiritual journey, or spirit, or the heavens, or God, or the goddess, or whatever you want to call it. But to me, there is actually not. You have the ability to get there by yourself. It's just a question of opening up and learning and understanding that we're all spiritual beings, and we all have the capability to connect with spirit. There is so much more to life than what we actually understand, and what religion wants us to believe. The religion per se as a dogma, you know, instead of actually being a spiritual practice. Now, there's also another one that, you know, I'm always very cheeky and have to always, you know, do a little bit more. This is my Aleister Crowley deck. Now, this is the tarottube. This is my Italian deck, and of course I did prepare it, but then I went and shuffled it, didn't I? Because I used it the other day, and I just wanted to have a look quickly at the Hierophant, because as I was talking about alchemy and I was talking about Hierophant as the initiator into the mysteries, I think this deck of all decks is the master in trying to depict that. Obviously, Aleister Crowley was into occult symbolism and bringing those mysteries into the cards when he was kind of a little bit more into white magic. Then he sort of got lost in black magic, and then got carried away with, you know, the power or the ritual or the magic or whatever, the satanic practices that he got himself, you know, involved in. Gee whiz, where is the Hierophant? I can't find him. That's so weird. Did I prepare him and lost him? To me, the Hierophant has so much more to it, and I kind of tend to look past the historical meaning of, you know, what the Pope represents, and look at it more from a mystical perspective. I guess that's also what the tarot brings to it too. It brings more of an insight into the mysteries and occult and the esoteric meanings, as opposed to the literal meaning of, you know, the Pope and what the Pope represented. And I found him. He was hidden in the book. And the reason I had put him in the book as a bookmark is because I'm loving this book, Tarot Mirror of the Soul by Gerd Ziegler. And this has opened me up so much more to understanding the Thoth Tarot. And I put him in here because I did want to read you something from the book itself. It says here, Taurus, spiritual master, teacher, advisor, initiate, inner guide, spiritual father, highest transformation. This card is ruled by Taurus. The throne of the initiate is a bull surrounded by 2 elephants, whose nature is the same as that of the bull, the elephants, that is. The 4 cherubim, guardians of the altar, are found in the 4 corners of the picture. Bull, lion, eagle, person, representing the different aspects of being. Taurus, the bull, is symbolic of earth, matter, the physical. Leo, the lion, represents the element fire, the capacity for intuition, willpower, and dynamism. The person represents the element air, so Aquarius, the mental, spiritual plane. And the eagle represents the higher transformation and is a connection with the element of water, Scorpio. So obviously the eagle is the higher aspect of Scorpio, and so it's the realm of emotions. The Hierophant has united all his elements in himself and has brought them to full expression. He is the awakened one, the fulfilled, the enlightened. He is a true spiritual master who acts as the intermediary between the human and the divine. He is the spirit made flesh, bull, and the final stage of human development in which the human is united with the godly. The woman who stands before him holding the crescent moon and a sword is Venus, ruler of Taurus. She holds the symbols for wisdom and emotion, a sign that these are in balance. The Hierophant has united the female and male within himself and evolved each fully. When the male and female are united, and this is what sort of I was talking about when I did my Emperor video, the child Horus is born. He is naked, unprotected, vulnerable, full of openness and trust in existence. He represents true wisdom, expressed in the natural innocence of a child. Anyone who spends time in the presence of the Hierophant is touched by this quality. All defense mechanisms must be dropped in order to come fully into contact with his being. His head is surrounded by 5 white rose petals, symbolic of love in its purest, most perfect form. This is a love which can see the other and give what is really needed at the moment. It may not always be something the other wants or wishes. A true master does not fulfill a disciple's wishes. Truth is provocation which can shake us out of the heavy sweet sleep of unconsciousness. Only those who feel free of self-seeking motivation can wield the truth in this way, like Jesus whipping the moneylenders out of the temple. The serpent of transformation at the top of the painting is touched by 9 nails. They are reminiscent of the crown of thorns, a reminder of the pain and suffering which accompany every transformation. True transformation can happen only in an attitude of receptiveness, bull, sensitivity, dove, trust, and in surrender to divine love. The dark background emphasizes the function of the Hierophant who brings the light of consciousness into the darkness of ignorance. That is the Hierophant with a deeper meaning from obviously the Thoth Tarot. And you can see the goddess here, Isis. I think she's Isis. And you can see the child here in the pentacle and all the other images that you have in this card. There's also sacred geometry in there. Those are the nails. And also you kind of have this design here, the sacred geometry behind the head. And it kind of looks like a stained glass window or a rosette window that you would see in a church. So yeah, very interesting. Hierophante in Italian. Alright guys, I thought I'd just share that with you because I thought I'd lost my Hierophant, but I'd actually put him in the book because I wanted to read you this extract from this book. It resonates for me with the Hierophant meaning. Alright, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'm really enjoying this series of top tarot trumps and just enjoying, you know, discovering the cards that I love and do not love, because it's very interesting. You don't really pay much, well, I mean, I didn't really pay much attention to looking into the trumps that I really love don't like really have a favorite in a sense of the major arcanas. I do have more favorite in the minors, which is bizarre. But yeah, every deck brings its wisdom, and every deck creator has something to portray with their cards, and it's just a joy to geek out with your cards, and any excuse to look at them and play with them is a great thing to me. So again, thanks to Marsha for initiating this tag, and thank you all for watching, for liking, for subscribing, and I'll see you in my next one. Ciao belli!